Hi, everybody. Ezra Levant here for Rebel News. I'm in Washington, D.C. Tomorrow, Donald Trump becomes both the 45th and the 47th president of the United States. You can see behind me Capitol Hill. Trump not only won the popular vote and all the battleground states, the Republicans won the Congress, the Senate, and of course, the Supreme Court is controlled by Republican appointees too. We're on the streets to talk to people about the inauguration and about whether or not Canada is still best friends with America.
If we were to work under the assumption that you're serious about making Canada 51st state of the United States, the leader of the Conservative Party in Canada said, under no circumstance will it ever be the 51st state.
Maybe he won't win, but maybe he will. I don't care.
You had suggested.
Listen, I don't care what he says.
But Sir, real fast, you said you were considering military force to acquire Panama and Greenland. Are you also considering military force to annex and acquire Canada?
No, economic force, because Canada and the United States, that would really be something.
Canadians for Trump, make North America great again. What do you mean by that?
When Trump's in office, America's going to get better. When America gets better, the world's going to get better. When the world gets better, Canada gets better.
Well, is that how far it goes, or are you one of those who say make Canada the 51st state?
Just don't let us vote.
Well,
there you go.
Well, that's the thing is
That's a smart man right there. Hey,
you'd have this electoral college. You'd have a lot more Dems in the electoral college.
Exactly. That's why I say just don't let us vote. Just give us your currency, your constitution, but don't let us vote.
We're from Omaha, Nebraska.
And it sounds like you know a little bit about Canada. What's your take about Trump sparring with Trudeau on the internet? Like, it's just really memes, but it's got Trudeau a bit rattled.
I'll tell you what, he kind of does that sometimes. He'll talk, for instance, about how, Putin, I don't think I like all the stuff you're doing. I would hate for anything to happen to those big, beautiful cathedral you got there in Red Square. I'm not saying anything, but that doesn't mean he has his finger over the red button, per se. But I kind of think he wants to work out a good deal, and what he has is the big ask.
To be serious for a second, though, I want to ask about these tariffs that Trump's proposing. I mean, Canada is your closest friend, closest ally. We serve next to you in Afghanistan, and Trump's threatening some tariffs on your closest buddies. What do you think of that?
Tariffs got to be, there's several ways that tariffs can be applied, but...
Yeah, but why are you doing that to your best friend?
I mean, we can't, America's been getting screwed over for a lot of years by a lot of countries, and if...
But is Canada really on the top 10 list of that?
I won't say top 10, but I'm not...
Why don't we pick on someone we can all agree?
I'm not the guy in charge,
I mean, can we all agree to pick on France instead?
He is going to be taxing France at a very high level, and he will. I think he's going to be taxing, a lot of Europe.
I love the Canadian people. They're great. But we're spending hundreds of billions a year to protect it. We're spending hundreds of billions a year to take care of Canada. We lose in trade deficits. We're losing massive. We don't need their cars. They make 20% of our cars. We don't need that. I'd rather make them in Detroit. We don't need the cars.
What do you make of Trump saying we're going to smack you with a tariff? Isn't that something that you do to maybe a true enemy like France?
A true enemy like France?
I'm just making a joke.
No, I get it. Well, I'm from Quebec, so I guess that's a true enemy.
I hope it didn't hurt too much.
No. It is a bit, I think it's more of a smack in the back of the head than it is a declaration of conflict, because that's something that can be negotiated very easily.
Well, Trudeau doesn't seem to find it easy. I think he wants to fight with Trump.
Well, he also quit his job. So
well,
he's still, fight at all.
But he's still in power. He's still running the place.
He is in power, but it depends what he's really up to, if that makes sense.
Canada's disarmed, largely. I mean, there still is firearms ownership, but they're under attack all the time.
Oh, of course. My son-in-law is in the Canadian military.
He's in the military, is he?
New Brunswick, yeah. He's in munitions. But
we do have a military, but it's been denuded a bit.
I think we're down to, big rocks and sticks with nails in it.
Well, hopefully we can reclaim our glory. Canada was there side by side with America in Afghanistan.
Yep, true. And with Trudeau gone, I think you can get a lot more done. I remember celebrating when he came in, thinking he might be like his dad, except without all the social programs. But not so much. And I can't get past that Fidel Castro resemblance. Yeah, I said that.
Well, and Trump tweeted that too. His mom and dad were awful chummy with Fidel, and they visited the island.
Mom especially.
Oh yeah, and it was not a strong marriage. Let me put it that way.
No, of course not.
They do look like each other.
They truly do. It's.
I like to say it's like Batman and Robin. You guys are Batman and we're Robin, and now here comes the threat of tariff. And what do you think of that? Do you think it's just a bluff, like a negotiating tactic, or do you think he means it?
Well, it's probably a negotiating tactic. I mean, there's going to be some tariffs that have to happen to get our economy back on track. Whether it's with Canada or Mexico or any other nation, we're just going to have to position ourselves to where we're stronger, because we have seen record inflation for many years, and we're struggling as American citizens to get by day to day. And so whatever tactic he needs to do, he needs to try that. Whether it's going to be enforced and how strict he's going to be, I mean, I'm looking more at the Greenland thing than I am the Canada thing.
Do you know what America imports from Canada? Are you familiar with that?
No clue. I mean, I thought Canada and the U.S. were their own country, but
Yeah, well, I know, but America brings in over $100 billion a year worth of Canadian oil and gas. That's by far the biggest thing we sell to America. And I'm trying to understand how putting a tariff on oil and gas that ordinary Americans use in their car or to heat their home, like how does that make sense?
so I mean, I didn't really do much research, so I can't make comment. But I just trust Trump. Whatever Trump does, I'm gonna take his word and go with it. He's the best guy on the planet.
Well, it's the heart of the deal. He starts big, right? Goes very big and brings it back.
So it's a negotiating tactic?
Always, every single time. Yeah, absolutely negotiation tactic.
But why are we supporting a country, 200 billion plus a year? Our military is at their disposal. All of these other things, they should be a state. That's why I told Trudeau when he came down, I said, what would happen if we didn't do it? He said Canada would dissolve. Canada wouldn't be able to function if we didn't take their 20% of our car market. They send us hundreds of thousands of cars. They make a lot of money with that.
Thank you all so much for coming out tonight. What a wonderful day it is to be here for President Trump's inaugural parade. And thank you so much for being here today. We appreciate
Right
you.
on.
Love you, Canada.
Right now, where are you from?
Originally from Indianapolis, Indiana, but I live here in Washington, D.C., and we're looking forward to having you as our 51st state.
Well, let me ask you about that, mister, because I know that's fun to say, but are you ready for an electoral college where the biggest state is now leaning Democrat?
No, we aren't, but we're very grateful, and we love having you as neighbors, and we're going to go easy on those tariffs.
Well, that's the thing, because I like the banter. We love Trump's banter, but we are your buddies and your friends and your partners and your allies. And I think a lot of Canadians are worried that we're going to be treated more like, you'd want to treat Iran than you'd want to treat a buddy.
Not at all. We love you, we appreciate you, and we value you as a country and as a people.
Well, I feel affirmed.
Thank you. Do so.
Thanks very much. Cheers, you too.
There's a reason to put tariffs down, and I don't go that deep with it, but it's like if you guys aren't like I don't know, I can't say gun laws, but let's just say you guys.
Well, Trump said it's a border issue. He doesn't want migrants or drugs crossing the border.
Okay, so perfect. Yep, tariffs, here they come. Stop the migrants and just like Mexico.
Well, I agree with stopping the migrants and the drugs, of course.
And then we won't tariff you.
Well, I hope that I hope
it does too. Yeah. Trump's badass.
I like your hat.
Rebel News.
Yeah.
I know I better look you up first before I talk to you.
Well, we're I would say we're Trump friendly.
Are you? We love Trump friendly.
Well, I think we were, in fact, in 2016, we were the only Canadian media outlet that was positive towards him.
With our Canadian friends. Our 51st state.
I like the fact that you're doing some due diligence on us before talking to me. You know what? I want to tell you, I deeply respect that. If someone with a microphone came up to me and wanted to talk about Trump, I would assume they're a wicked liar.
Maybe.
I'm serious. I think you're very wise to check us out.
Okay, I'm doing that right now.
If you throw tariffs on Canadian oil, doesn't that just raise the price of product, like at the pump here in America? Like if you slap a 25% tariff on Canadian oil imports to America, that's going straight to the pump.
Well, we also have a ton of oil in our own country that we don't.
But you're missing 4 million barrels a day.
We can
How
make up the
quick?
difference.
6 months, a year?
I think it's so the estimates right now are to reduce energy costs in America within 1 year by 50%. So
I don't know if that's going to happen.
well, I mean, look at all the problems that the Biden administration caused with respect to energy.
Oh, they were awful.
Royalty rate increases, moratorium on oil and gas leases. They locked up millions of acres on federal lands, and
No, you're right on all these points. I'm just saying, you slap a 25% tariff on Canadian oil today, you're paying 25% more for that feedstock for your American refineries today.
And why should we have a $200 billion deficit and add on to that many, many other things that we give them in terms of subsidy? And I said, that's okay to have if you're a state. But if you're another country, we don't want to have it. We're not going to have it with European Union either.
Trump ID.
Yeah, that's as close as I can get for
And
official.
your electrical.
Oh, careful.
Okay.
Hey, probably.
Okay. So where are you guys from?
Connecticut.
Yeah, both of you coming together, yeah?
Yeah, yeah. How you guys been?
Well, we're from Canada. We come down here just to see.
I follow you guys.
Are you serious?
Yes,
Are you
yes,
serious?
we do. Everybody does. Probably you can get the crowd going.
Wow.
Trudeau didn't shut you down, huh?
Well, he tries. I mean, seriously, he has tried. We've had to take him to court a couple times.
Well, I did a couple of years ago. You guys in the courtroom, you got kicked out of a couple of things too.
Yeah.
You guys do a great job.
Well, thanks very much. You know your stuff. Hey, as Canadians, I mean, Rebel News is we're supportive of Trump, but we're worried because he's said he's going to slap some big tariffs on Canada. I don't know if you heard that part.
Yes. Well, you'll have the opportunity to become the 51st state. Ah!
Well, have you thought that one through?
No. Well, if you
Or do you
want
think it's just banter?
a little bit of banner, but it's fine.
No, I think he's going to have some stipulations. If you guys do this, I won't do the tariffs.
I think you're right. I mean, he did say all Canada has to do is stop illegal drugs and migrants from coming across the border.
Common sense.
I think you're right, but for some reason, Justin Trudeau, our prime minister, is
anymore.
Yeah, well, he's there for a while yet.
Okay.
Yeah, a few months yet.
Okay.
Do you think Trump really is going to go ahead with those tariffs?
That's what he says he's going to do. Yes.
I mean, I think maybe part of it is Trump looks at Trudeau and he gets so mad that he sort of smacks Trudeau but hits the rest of us at the same time.
Absolutely, and I don't think that's necessarily fair, but I think it's partly show.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a certain kind of bluster. I mean, he's a hell of a negotiator.
That's exactly why I love him. He's a little bit different than the rest of them.
Well, hopefully we can resolve that disagreement.
Well, I think at the end of the day, all of us are on the same team, whether it doesn't matter what country you're from. I think most of us are hoping for the same things. So if Canada becomes part of the United States, I think that'd be fantastic. If it, yeah, we would love to
Well,
have
have you thought it through? I mean, how do you feel about the Electoral College now having the largest part of the Electoral College being pro-Democrat?
Well,
change you.
How about French? We a quarter of our people speak French. There's sort of bilingualism. I don't know.
My last name's Crevier. My husband's French Canadian, so there's a whole Quebec. There's actually a
Francis Dulac, the
Yeah.
Creviers.
Wow, I see a
back
whole.
to the 1600s, so we're in it to win it.
Wow.
51st state,
ask her
Canada.
how her
Pay your way.
French
Pay your way so that there's an even. So it's even because we've been holding you up, right? So pay your way, and we're in it.
Pay your fair share
For sure, what?
of bringing the goods in and the goods going out. If you're gonna,
Do you know what America imports from Canada? Do you know the number one?
what is it?
If I told you that by far the biggest import from Canada is oil and gas, could you explain to me how it makes sense to put a tariff on oil and gas for Americans? Like, doesn't that just make it more expensive?
Puts it on you. We're going to stop getting your gas.
Well, then how you? Well, but we sell about 4 million barrels a day. We sell like.
Stop that.
What are you going to drive then?
What we're going to drill our own oil, make our own.
I like the sound of that, but that doesn't happen immediately though, does it?
I know that. We might hang on to you for a while till while we need you, and when we don't.
I'll have more reports from here in the U.S. The most exciting thing I've got going on today is a meeting later on with Danielle Smith, the Premier of Alberta, who is here to try and stop the trade war. We'll publish that as soon as we can. Follow along at rebelnews.com.